And again, I want to say a very warm Saturday afternoon to all of us watching, those of us that have joined us online via Facebook and then our online stream. I want to say a very wonderful Saturday good afternoon to you out there. And again, I want to thank all of you that have joined us with this Effective Living Series. We started the show in February this year, and we thank God so much that we have come this far. Over the period, we've had the likes of Mr. George Kodradison joining us, Mr. George Babafemi, and Reverend Nanabuabin, and all the likes joining us in this show. We've touched on so many issues as far as Effective Living Series is concerned. And last 2 weeks, we started looking at financial management, personal financial management, and we were looking at financial literacy. And today, I have my guest in the studio with me to continue with the discussion. Let me remind all of us that this show is brought to us by Capital O2, and again brought to us by Royalty Boutique, TriStar Insurance Brokers, Nisi Pharmaceutical Company Limited, SKO Company Limited, and again also brought to us by SKO. Yes, I've mentioned SKO Company Limited. So today we are continuing with our discussion from last 2 weeks on financial management. But before I do that, I want to go for a short commercial break. Make sure you share the link because we are live. Our guest is in the studio, and tell a friend to tell a friend that we are live, because last 2 weeks we really had a nice time, and this week we are continuing with it. Just stay and stick with me. We'll be back shortly.
Madam, woman ye, me buy a me show musa, na dena de mo my strong, I active air covasa.
Fasidama Acticate multivitamin drops and Acticate magic beans. And an among crana who dance no, and cry yaw one ne, a confumiansa, and an Acticate multivitamin drops, and mamma who day more from Kama, and we are in Ravu doing in be soon. Your vitamins A, B, C, D, and E, and mamma who day, be a woman dream, na magic beans no. And growing up 4 years, echo, a food supplement. One more unit is set of it, and we are in raw vitamins, ne minerals, nina so, a beer your mumma, and cacao beer so, and peanut oil, and sound son of vegetarians. It's me a ribby.
Auntie, the Obata and beer here and Acticate.
Anne Acticate multivitamin drops and Acticate magic beans. And one about 10 in a year.
And he found a mania beato.
Penny do to a Nisi pharmacy for and Aquafaba, Nemon Bako pharmacy shop bia, Ubenya Biato, Sankraut way, FDA, Ashisham Adia to Muse, a year.
Alright, so welcome back to the show. This is Effective Living Series with me, your host Ernest. And like I said last week, last 2 weeks rather, we had a very wonderful discussion as far as personal financial management is concerned. And we have a very wonderful personality in the studio. For time's sake, let me just run us through those of us that couldn't join last 2 weeks, and perhaps this is your first time with the show. Let me just do a quick run through with our guest in the studio this afternoon. He is an experienced financial economist and investment banker with over 11 years in management position with demonstrated history of work in investment banking, non-banking financial services, and academia. He is currently the head of CEO Secretariat with Services Integrity Savings and Loans Limited, and one of the pioneer employees to start the operations of SIS&L. Before this position, he worked as a managing consultant to Ascent Financial Services Limited, Jesla Financial Services Limited. Other positions he has held include General Manager NDK, Asset Management, Head of Research, Gold Coast Securities Limited. And just let me jump. He was a member of the Governing Council Board of Ghana Securities Industry Association, Ghana's Capital Market, and chaired the Public Affairs Committee. Sorry. Okay. All right. Sorry for that. I think my okay. So let me sorry for the hitches. Think my mic was off, but we are back on now. So I said my guest this afternoon, for those of us that are joining us for the first time, let me just do a quick run of our guest for you to know who he is. I said he is an experienced financial economist and investment banker with over 11 years in management position, with demonstrated history of work in investment banking, non-bank financial services, and academia. He is currently the head of CEO Secretariat with Services Integrity Savings and Loans Limited, and one of the pioneer employees to start the operations of SIS&L. Before this position, he worked as a managing consultant to Ascent Financial Services Limited and Jesla Financial Services Limited. Other positions he has held include General Manager, NDK Asset Management, Head of Research, Gold Coast Securities Limited. He was a member of the Governing Council Board of the Ghana Securities Industry Association, Ghana's Capital Markets, and also chaired the Public Affairs Committee of the association. He presently serves on the board of the Ghana Armed Forces Provident Fund, and he is a member of the Investment Subcommittee of the fund. He contributes to Ghana's economy and investment discussions on CNBC, Africa, Bloomberg News, Reuters News Agency, TV3, GTV, Joy FM, Class FM, Business and Financial Times, Daily Graphic, and among others. Welcome one more time, Mr. Collins Appiah, to the show.
Thank you very much for having me.
Yes, and how was the weekend? I know your week has been very tight.
Last week, I couldn't make it because I needed to travel on some official assignments.
Exactly.
It came in emergency and I needed to attend to that.
Yes.
I'm sorry for not being able to be here last week. I hope that we should be able to cover
exactly
that our listeners have been waiting for to hear from us.
Yes, and we thank you so much for doing us the honors and joining us in the O2 radio, because we know how busy your schedules are, how demanding your role is, but you made time to be with us to have this wonderful discussion. Thank you so much. And we are grateful. So just a quick, last 2 weeks we started looking at the issue of financial literacy, and one of the things that I personally picked out from last 2 weeks discussion, remember you started by saying that financial literacy, regardless where you find yourself, you could even be the manager of a financial institution and still not know how to manage your financial life. There were punchlines that I picked. One of the things he said was, if you spend more than how much you earn, then you don't know financial literacy. You are wrecking your future. Again, you said if you don't earn, you are not supposed to consume. What you don't produce, you don't consume. Again, there was a point that you made that said, you spoke about spending lifestyles that can lead one into poverty. For instance, a young man that has started life, you want to rent big, you want to buy a car, you want to go into mortgages, you just started life. There was another issue about faith that you redefined faith for us. That you said faith comes in when you believe and also use systematic organic means to achieve something. When you use systematic and organic means to achieve something. Again, you said the more you put yourself into debt, the more poverty becomes your friend. The more you put yourself into debt, the more poverty becomes your friend. And lastly, you said at a certain stage of your life, it is more important to invest in yourself. So these are some of the things that my listeners and myself we picked from last 2 weeks discussion. So I don't know if you want to add something before we move on to today's. We want to look at budgeting, savings, and investments for today.
Yeah, I think you covered most of the things.
Yes.
Maybe out of the discussion, but in summary, I think last 2 weeks my aim was to let our listeners or your viewers understand that financial literacy is a key thing to have. It's something that every human being, so far as you live on this earth, you can't do away with it.
Financial,
Therefore, you should have knowledge about it.
Exactly.
In talking about that, we make mention of the fact that attending business schools, getting degrees in economics, accounting, those things necessarily does not make you financially literate.
Yeah.
And I cite an example where people who have those PhDs in those areas have still managed businesses, and those businesses have gone down.
Yeah.
They still find themselves trapped in poverty, in quotes.
Exactly.
Trying to make end means, to live more or less. And if you find yourself in that, then it means that financial literacy thing that we talk about is very something that you have to take it seriously.
Exactly.
In summary, I think I was trying to make a point that there are some skills. Financial literacy means that you have to develop certain skills.
Skills, okay.
Those skills, more or less, are for you to appreciate some terminologies that on daily basis they should become your friend.
Yeah.
We talk about income.
Okay.
Yes, sometimes maybe the word income, people don't know it, but so far they are working, they are getting something. It means they are earning income. Okay. Now that we are talking about financial literacy, then you should position your mind that now I know what you call income. Income. It's a term.
Okay.
I think I cited an example from Abusu. This place.
Okanshi, the women, the market women.
Market women where people are there. They don't have this knowledge of income, but so far they are selling, they are getting something.
They are getting something, yeah.
So now, if you listen to us, then we say what you are getting out of the business you are doing
is income.
Is an income you are getting. If you are working, what your employer is paying you is an income. So now, at least, if nothing at all, you know what we call income.
Yeah.
Having gotten the income, and that's why I think the link that I made to the point that if you don't have an income, then there's no way you can spend.
You can spend.
That's where I link the
what you don't earn, you can spend.
So if, as I recall, I said, if you live in this world and you are spending and not earning, it means that you are spending somebody's income.
Yes.
A time will come, that person will stop it.
Exactly.
And you won't have anything to spend.
Yeah.
It's better to generate your own income. To be able to spend out of it. We made mention of expenditure.
Yes.
And we're talking about how sometimes people starting life want to just live big, want to live as if they are the influencers.
You just arrived. Yes. You just arrived.
Guys in a system.
Yeah.
But it's not really helpful.
Exactly.
It doesn't work for human being, because at a point in time, as I said, the expenditure is being measured to the income you are earning.
Yeah.
Over time, it will push you to poverty if you are not able to.
Because last week we spoke about accumulation of debts.
Yes.
The more you accumulate debts, the more poverty catches up with you.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So today I want us to look at the issue of budgeting, because last week you made mention of spending lifestyles that can lead us into poverty. Lifestyles that, no matter how much you are earning, there are certain lifestyles that will not inure well to your financial success. Then the issue of budgeting comes in. So today I want us to look at what is budgeting at all. Why is there the need to have a budget and stick to it? I know there are certain terms that we use, but we don't even know the meaning of those terms. Today, if you can help us with the issue of budgeting.
Okay. So when we say budgeting or have a budget, let me pick it from I think the one that people are very familiar with is the corporate budget.
Yes.
So let me take it from people who are doing business angle, then later I will come to the individual, because we are doing personal finance here.
Yeah.
Normally in an organization, I think we are in October, from this time up to December, most institutions are preparing their budget for the
next year.
Yes. Sure. So they go for strategic budget planning.
Yes.
And trying to more or less forecast what they want to have or what they want to do by the following year.
Exactly.
So institution, when you say budgeting, what it simply means is that you are trying to plan ahead of time.
Okay.
Okay. You are planning your finances ahead of time.
Okay.
You are trying to forecast.
Okay.
How much revenue should I earn next year? How much income, let me use that word, should I earn next year to be able to let the company run?
Okay.
Whilst you are planning how much you should earn by next year, you are also planning how you should spend.
Okay. The expenditure
Aspect of it. So that at the end of the day, you have what we call, when you net the expenditure from the income or the revenue, you get a profit.
Okay.
For an institution.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's budgeting.
Okay.
In simple
terms, yeah.
In simple terms, basically, that's what you can say.
Yes.
Corporate budgeting, trying to plan ahead of time.
Okay.
The finances of the institution.
Okay.
Trying to estimate your revenue. So normally when
do
you
some projections.
Yeah. When you estimate that, okay, by the end of next year, the company want to have a revenue of, let's say, 25 million Ghana cedis.
Okay.
That 25 million, in terms of budgeting, you should be able to ask yourself, what should I do to earn that revenue?
Okay.
And that's where the strategic planning comes in.
Okay.
But I think the strategic plan, maybe I will leave it for
another time. Yeah, sure.
But simple terms, budgeting is trying to plan your finances ahead of time. Now, when you come to the individual,
yes,
what is budgeting for the individual? And that's what I think most of us don't do. And most often than not, before, I don't know when, maybe I think normally salaries, corporate people who are working in the corporate institution receive their salary from 22nd to, let's say, end of the month.
Some even start from the 18th. Where I used to work from, by 18th, your salary
18th. Okay. Some I think I'm even told that some receive double pay. They receive half,
and then at the end of the month,
every 2 weeks there's some money.
For armed forces, for instance, by 15 they are paid.
Yes, armed forces, I know by 15 their salaries are in there.
Yes.
For them to enjoy.
Yeah.
So while the salary, the income that is given to you, you know, when the income is given to you, you spend.
Yeah.
The mistake that we do is that there's no plan of the expenditure.
Okay.
Against the income that you are receiving or the salary that you are receiving.
Okay.
If somebody is able to say that, okay, next month I will receive, let's say, 5,000 Ghana cedis.
All right.
Out of these 5,000 Ghana cedis, I have to pay my rent, let's say 500 Ghana cedi out of it.
Okay.
I will pay my electricity bill, 200 out of it.
Gas.
My fuel, gas, okay.
Yeah.
Gas. Sometimes, guys, I think people fill it for 6 months, or I don't know whether every month you have to go to fill your gas.
Yeah.
But there are some expenditure that on monthly basis,
yes,
you know, you have to incur. And I think maybe if I don't say this, my pastor will kick me. But that the 10% of the tithes.
Yes.
Those are things you see. Yeah. So you have to write those things down.
All right.
To be able to know. Oh, I think by the end of this month or every month,
yes,
these are core expenditure. Come what may, I will.
These are mandatory
expenditure.
Exactly.
And that's why I think the other time I was making a point that if you do those calculations and you just suppose that to the income, and the salary is not enough, then it means that maybe is not worth for you to be working.
Exactly.
So either you have to look for another stream of income or probably look for another job that will pay you higher.
Okay.
Or you cut the expenditure
down.
So if you are living in a place where you are paying, let's say, 500 and you think that the 500 cannot support the income that you are making, probably go and look for 200
or 300 accommodation.
Exactly.
Yes.
Putting those things on paper and planning and saying that, okay, if I'm able to put all my expenditure together based on this expenditure, if I hit it against the income, I'll still be left with something to save.
Yes.
Or at least it's still within the salary.
Yeah.
Then we say we are budgeting.
You are budgeting.
Yes. But mostly we don't do that.
We don't. It's as and when the money arrives. Whatever that comes.
Salary, but the next day we are just spending.
Wow. So why is it so important? I know you've done that, but again, for our listeners, why is it so important that I need to draw a budget? Because somebody said that I already have in mind. And then there was argument that I said, I'm going to do this, and that. Why is there the need for me to? Somebody said you still have to write it. You need to put it down on paper. Why is there a need for me to have a budget?
Okay.
Because
so,
off head, I know what my salary is I want to do with my salary.
Okay, so off head, you can
Yes.
say that you know.
Yeah.
Some people you could pardon them,
Okay.
but it's not everybody
Yes.
who can keep those things.
Yeah.
If you've heard of this word, impulse buying,
Impulse buying. Okay.
before,
Mm.
you see the need
Okay.
to always have a budget.
All right.
Sometimes you are just walking and you see something like, oh, Charlie, I have like 100 Ghana cedi in my pocket. Why don't I used to buy?
Yeah.
For all you know, that 100 Ghana cedi that you have in your pocket, it's not meant for.
It's not meant for that.
So if you don't plan, if you don't budget, if you don't have a plan of budget,
Yeah.
you are likely to spend the income that you've received in quote
Okay.
before the next income to come.
You are eating into the next income.
So I think what I'm trying to say is that
Yeah.
assuming you receive 2,000 Ghana cedi now,
Okay.
and the next income probably will come on the 25th.
Mm.
If you don't plan, you are likely to spend the 2,000 before the 25th.
Okay.
And let's say you spend before, let's say 20th.
Okay.
The question is from 20th to that 25th.
Mm.
That's where you have to go and borrow.
Chai.
So if you don't have a budget, and it trust me, you see, when you have a budget,
Mm.
it tells you that from this time to this time, I'll spend this.
Mm.
From this time to this time. Things that are not in your budget as part of your expenditure, you don't spend.
You don't spend.
And therefore, it takes you to the next level to be able to plan that, okay, some of us receive it from 25th going.
Exactly.
So 25th, I know very well that I'll still have this amount of money in my
amount.
And when this one comes, then I can use to spend.
But you agree with me that there are some situations that are, we call them exigencies,
Yes.
that may not be within the budget.
So it's part of the budget process.
It's
If
part
you
of
are
the budget.
budgeting, we make provision for emergencies.
Okay, so now
Contingencies.
exactly. So now I come to that. How do I come by a budget?
Okay.
So maybe step by step, or maybe in a very literal terms. How do I come by a budget?
Okay. So let me pick an example.
Example of sure.
Of a person who is working
Okay.
and receiving salary from a company.
Okay.
This person receives every month a salary.
All right.
In budgeting, the salary becomes the income,
Okay.
and when you are budgeting, the first line is your income.
Yes.
The next line is expenditure.
Okay.
The expenditure is what you use the money for.
Four.
Okay. So in a typical home,
Yeah.
we can draw a typical budget for an individual.
Exactly.
If the person is married, let me pick it from which maybe most people could. Then maybe
Yeah.
I'll come to the individual.
The single
What
ones,
I
yeah.
say, the married people will probably have now in a typical lifestyle. The wife is working, the man is
The man
working.
too is working. Yes.
So putting the two income together
Together.
becomes still your income.
Exactly.
Now we come to the expenditure. If you are working in town, there's high probability that you have maybe budget. You have to budget for a transport.
Transport. Yeah. Or fuel.
So the fuel.
Yes.
So the transport is either you are using the public transport means, or
Yes.
you are using your personal car where you make provision for fuel.
Yes.
So transport becomes one key expenditure item you have to
Exactly.
make
Yeah.
provision for.
Four. Yeah.
Let me give you an example.
Mm.
On still not transport, if I want to highlight, sometimes let's say, oh, I think me talk 100
Fuel.
200 Ghana fuel.
Yeah.
And then maybe go.
Yeah.
You budget for 200 Ghana cedis.
Mm.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's say, should I say a week?
Yeah.
So in a month, you are talking about 800.
Yes. 800.
Out of this 800, the 200, the first week,
Mm.
you know, from your house to the workplace, 1 week, 200 should be able to take care of you.
Yeah.
Then something happens and Pokwasi Road, the road has been blocked in a way that
You have to divert.
expected traffic
Mm.
that you stay in, you go beyond
Exactly.
the 200. It means that the 800 that you budgeted for the month is not going to.
Or your mother has called you, and so you have to divert and go and visit your mother.
Exactly. So, no, you have planned for it, but there are still things that could come within
Exactly.
that will throw even the budget in a way.
Okay.
But it still doesn't stop you from budgeting.
Budgeting.
So, I think the point is that making such provision is very key.
Yeah.
Transport, I think, transport or fuel.
Yes.
Is one of the things at home you
Yeah.
budget for. Food.
Yeah.
It's also something that I know some couples will normally do. 1 month they go and buy almost all
Everything.
the things that
Yes.
they need.
Yes.
Come and put in the house and they start,
Yes.
using. So food is key.
Okay.
Your ECG, electricity,
Okay.
is also one of the expenditure items
Yeah.
in modern
budget
life.
list, yeah.
You have to budget for. Water
Exactly.
also is one of the expenditure items
Yeah.
that you have to make provision.
Toiletries.
Toiletries, yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
So there, I think the American people call it groceries.
Groceries.
Some home things
Yeah,
that
sure.
you have to be buying,
Yeah.
at least toiletries and other things
Yeah.
that you spend on
Basic necessities.
basic necessities
Yeah,
that you
sure.
have to, If you are renting,
Mm.
you have to make provision for rent.
Have a savings for rent.
So this is how it works.
Okay.
In Ghana, they will force you to pay 2 years.
Yes.
Normally, the mistake that people do,
Mm.
if he's able to gather the
2 years.
2 years, he goes to pay it and he forgets that he has to be putting money
Aside.
on that monthly basis for the next 2 years.
Or try Edra.
Now, if you will call left, right, center, okay? The next option is just for yourself, not make a loan.
That's right. That's right.
Now, the loan that you have gone for, unfortunately,
Yeah,
is
interest, yeah.
the interest
Mm.
that you are paying is part of your future income that you should have saved.
Yes. Yes.
That's all the common bank.
Yeah.
So borrowing to do that is, for me, it's not necessary.
It's not
When
right.
if you pay 2 years at least every month, that rent, put it and take it from your salary and put it
down as though you are paying a monthly,
As if you are paying
monthly
rent.
rent. Yes.
So in the budgeting, you have to make provision
For rent.
for that.
Wow.
Normally couples will have kids, so child school fees.
Yes.
Okay, it's also something you have to be budgeting for.
Mm.
A typical Ghanaian, the external dependencies are also there.
Exactly.
The
Of
more
our
you
say
have,
and
you can't do
and all that.
you know.
Yes.
And sometimes the demands are so high that if you have phone, they also doom.
Because your friend won't fall for cry. Be a friend, you're not fully.
Sometimes phone calling to their friend crown.
Wow.
You see, yes, they are good to do, but make sure it doesn't throw. Because trust me,
Yes.
as much as you are trying to even help,
Mm.
if you are not careful, they will push you into poverty.
Into poverty. Exactly.
Because if all the time people are forcing you to now go beyond how much you are earning,
Yes.
then the next option to fund those expenditure is just to be borrowing.
Yes.
As you accrue borrowing to yourself,
Wow.
you will be getting into debt.
So you're making understand that having a budget more or less like safeguard you
perfectly.
from a lot of uninvited situations.
That's right.
Like you said, you may be walking and then you see a bucket of yogurt and then Charlie, let me buy this bucket of yogurt. Exactly.
If you have not budgeted,
You've not budgeted
why
for.
You have to say, oh no.
You saw a nice suit. It's a suit with your Charlie, me shank be fine. You just go for it. But when you have a budget and you stick to it, it safeguards you from all of these things. Wow. So very important for us to have a budget.
And, yes, and having the budget also gives you. It means because you've planned, then you plan that you should be able to restrict the expenditure within the salary.
Within the salary.
To have savings out of it.
Out of it. Yes. Because if you don't have the budgets, you wouldn't even know that your spendings are either less or more than your earnings.
Let me give you an example.
Okay.
I think a friend,
Yes.
he comes to you and say, oh, Collins, I think every month now I want to put aside 1,000 Ghana cedis.
Okay.
For all you know, the guy is earning an income of 2,500.
Okay.
Because there's no budget, he goes to put the 1,000 into a savings account. Left with 1,500. The 1,500 couldn't even go within for 2 weeks.
Wow.
So because you don't have the budget,
you don't have the budget
your
to know.
budget, your expenditure, your core expenditure is even more than the
1,500.
But because he just wanted to save,
exactly,
he just takes the money and says, "Oh, I'm going to save."
Wow.
The next time he goes to a more famous money.
Wow.
Then he discourages from even
investing
and saving.
What an eye opener. So those of us that are listening to us, I mean, yes, those of us that are listening to us, I believe you are learning so much. Na dromo bi adukwe He said, wow, I'm learning so much. Thank you. Yes, I mean, we are all learning something so very important this afternoon. Those of us that are not in the habit of drawing a budget, at the end of buying a minimum, they maybe I spend it at that. But you need to have a budget. Like we said, it safeguards you from a lot of uninvited expenses, especially with the young ones. Charlie, our eyes. Somebody said statistics from African banks show that men withdraw a lot on Fridays and women deposit a lot on Mondays. Wow. This one I don't want us to go there. Men withdraw a lot on Fridays and women deposit a lot on Mondays. Let's go on, Mr. Collins. Now, again, I want us to look at the lifestyles. What are some of the lifestyles that can affect a steady budget?
Okay, so before
lifestyles that
talk
can
about the lifestyle, let me give this to I don't know, but those who have been listening to, is it Kiyosaki?
Yeah, Robert Kiyosaki, yes. Yeah.
You get that knowledge from there. I read it some 10, 15
Yeah.
years back, where he tries to define what, you know, when you study this accounting thing, they will tell you what is the difference between an asset
and a liability. Yes.
And normally, some of us, not normally, the accounting principle tells you that asset is more or less some of the physical things that you buy.
Okay.
So I go and buy, let's say, a car.
Yeah.
And you think that a car is an asset. You go and buy a computer, laptop, and you think that the laptop, you go and buy a phone.
An iPhone.
And
the latest one.
Yes, and you think it's an asset.
It's an asset.
Kiyosaki came in and said, no. If in personal financing, if you buy an asset, no, so he defined an asset as if you buy anything, any physical thing, or anything that you use your money to buy as an asset, and that asset does not generate income, it's not an asset.
It's a liability.
Tell you. This is one of the deepest things.
Wow.
You know, that some of us have.
Anything that does not generate income
is not an asset. So let me give you an
example. Yes.
If I buy a car,
okay,
and I use the car for work, it's not an asset. People think that the car is an asset because maybe when I die, it's something that somebody could come and take.
Yes.
But mind you, the car, immediately you buy the car, you now start spending on fuel,
maintenance,
and other things.
Yeah.
When I buy a car, and I give the car to somebody to use as Uber, it becomes an asset.
Okay.
Because to him, asset is something that should be able to generate an income.
Generate an income.
Yes. The one that I bought for myself is just for my leisure, just for my comfort.
The comfort.
Yes. It's not generating an income.
So me having a car and taking it to work.
Oh, just for your comfort, convenience. It's not an asset.
It's not an asset.
Yeah, because it's not generating income for you. If you're able to have that kind of mentality, then you force yourself to start acquiring things that in code can be
generates income.
Yes.
So if I buy the latest iPhone, doesn't bring money to my pocket, it's a liability.
You're just enjoying the Facebook and the WhatsApp and just receiving calls.
If I build a 2-bedroom
and you go and stay in it, it's not actually an asset. And you see, the guy defined the thing for an investment purpose.
Okay.
In that, if I have a house and I'm staying in it, the house could be described as giving me comfort.
Okay.
It's not generating any income.
It's not generating income.
But if I leave that house and rent that house out, it starts generating an income. And to him, that's what he thinks that is an asset.
Isn't it an asset in a sense that because I was renting, but now I've stopped renting and I'm now...
So
I think we need to...
No, so he is not defining it from something you needed to have. You are just trying to bring in your how do you call it, your basic necessity needs that need to be met. We are saying fine, meet them.
Yes.
And that's why even in the house, the car, we are not saying don't go and buy a car.
Yes.
You need a car because if you don't get it, you have to spend in the other way to still get what you need to do with the car.
Yeah.
So we are not saying don't do it, but don't do it in a sense. See it as yes, I'm doing it, but it's giving me comfort and it's not generating extra income.
And not generating extra income. Wow. And again, what are some of the lifestyles again? Because I know there are a lot of lifestyles that we can look at that really affect our budgets.
Yes. So the lifestyle that we have to be careful with when you are drawing the budget is to first of all try in budgeting.
Okay.
Be concerned about your basic needs.
Basic needs. Okay.
Okay.
Yes.
So the person who has not got a house and is renting, rent becomes your shelter. It becomes a key thing.
Yes.
Clothing becomes a key thing,
Yes.
for you that you have to be making provision for.
Yeah.
I think food.
Yes.
It also becomes a key thing in terms of things that you have to spend.
Education.
Education is also key depending on where you've got into.
Exactly.
Okay, in life. Education is in perpetuity. I mean,
Exactly. I mean, there's no end.
If you are talking about just a former, what we call traditional education,
okay,
in the world, I would normally advise people in education with your age,
okay,
in a certain way,
okay,
and where I see your life to be going.
Exactly.
I think in Ghana, there has been these people, one or two, history that have been made where, this 70-something years old was going to attend, Then I ask myself,
a woman, yeah.
He just want to do it, but it won't generate any income at that age.
Exactly.
So assuming maybe I was there and the woman said, what do you want to, is it that you're going to go for days to go and
it's like self-gratification.
Exactly.
Yeah, self-gratification, yeah.
Just something to
exactly
that he has also been able to. But I think lifestyle that control don't bring in expenditure that cannot be within the
budget.
Yes, I think
okay,
for me that is very key.
Okay.
Young guys of late, I think, because of this football, has been putting their money
into betting.
When I see it, my heart just bleeds. I was in Economist. There's a program I read, and we read the econometricians.
Yes.
Try to calculate the probability of betting and winning.
Wow.
You wouldn't want to throw your money, not even one cedi. When I did that course, I said, for me, bet. I've not even tried before, but that one alone. So it's like I'm going to do something that this one I know the outcome is just a failure. The probability of you getting it is very low.
Exactly.
It's very low. Why do I have to go and the letter that I have go and put it on that?
Interesting. But I don't want us to discuss this, but and I know they'll have the argument as well. But I think you made very valid point that there's a need for you to have a budget, and again there's a need to also check your lifestyle that affects your budgets. Living an extravagant life, always you want to acquire. Your life become acquisitive, you always want to acquire things. If you're not careful, you always exceed your budget. Now, I don't know if you're okay with the budget. If you can move on to the savings and investments bit of it, but I don't know if you're okay with that. If we can move into savings, I want to add something.
So the budgeting, maybe the last thing I will say that when you are budgeting, make room for savings.
Make room for savings. If you are budgeting,
make room for savings.
Okay.
So the savings is gradual accumulation of little monies that later can be used for investment.
Okay. Now, I know there are a lot of people that may be in the same situation. That's one. My expenditure hit against my income is either a par or my expenditures are more than my income. However, no matter how well I try to limit certain things and do the plus and minus, it is still, my expenditures are still higher than my income. Even if I should change my rent and go for a lower one that is lower, I realize that because in the Ghanaian culture there are a lot of dependents. You are taking care of your cousin, your niece, and all of these things. A lot of people are in kind of bondage or more of like prison because what they are earning and what is going out if you look at the balance, there's a big, very wide. What do they do?
It's not about the budget.
Yeah, like I said,
It's not about the budget,
okay.
because for me, if you have a budget,
yes,
then it means that expenditure being more than your income,
yes,
means you have to cut the expenditure.
you have to cut the expenditure.
Yes.
I didn't know what cut you and so still.
No, so when you cut and cut and cut, and it still doesn't weigh, then it means that the job that you are doing to get the income is not the job you should be doing.
Okay, you should
That's
okay.
what it means.
Okay, yeah.
Irrespective, you can't tell me that you want to go and say, I'm driving a taxi for somebody. The person is paying me 200 Ghana cedi a month. And that 200 Ghana cedi in a month, you spend more than the 200
Ghana
you want
cedis.
to continue to do that.
Yeah.
So who will be funded the difference? The difference probably will be funded by other relatives.
Exactly.
People trying to fall on others. But it's not sustainable.
Exactly.
It's not sustainable. So for me, I think that if you have a lifestyle, no, it's not actually a lifestyle,
yes.
But
yeah.
the income that you are making, how much your normal way is not comparable to it, then it means that you have to rethink again.
You have to rethink, change the job,
or
do an additional
to get money, rethink. Because it can't work.
Well, I want us to, because of time, I want us to move straight to the issue of savings and investments. And then we want to ask, is there a difference between savings and investments? Is there a difference between a savings and investment? If there are differences, what is the difference?
Okay, so savings to me is trying to, at least on frequent basis, setting aside money.
Okay.
That's more or less it's like trying to aside your surplus.
Okay.
What I mean is that if you are able to curtail your expenditure within the income, what is left is what you put in savings.
Into savings, okay.
Okay. So like an individual every month, if I do my budget, assuming I'm earning 20,000 Ghana cedi, and I spend, let's say, 15,000.
Okay.
Okay. I'm left with 5,000 Ghana.
Yeah.
That 5,000, I leave it on
savings. Okay.
Because 5,000 is into be because of investment rather.
Okay.
But savings is trying to put aside little monies for some time. Then when it becomes big enough, then you can put it on investment. But the word investment for me, maybe from where I said it, very broad, because it's not only buying treasury bills, buying stocks, buying those mutual funds.
Yes.
That can only be classified as investment.
Okay.
If somebody takes money to go and do business, it's also an investment.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, yes, can I'm the cotton cocoa. The cocoa that I'm doing, the business that I'm doing is also it's an investment.
It's an investment, okay.
So any money that you take to do any business that gets you profit, income, is an investment.
It's an investment.
Yes. Another way you can also differentiate between savings is also that normally for savings, especially with the financial institution, the interest you earn on savings are very small as compared to investment.
Okay.
And that's why I'm using the amount to be able to distinguish. But I think the distinction is very
and again
high.
Perhaps the investment, the risk are higher than savings, if I'm right.
Not necessarily.
Okay.
Not necessarily. Assuming somebody said he was saving at one of these microfinance that collapsed.
Yes.
It's still savings, but still, if you lose the money, you've lost it.
Yes.
But the saving, I think maybe from finance explanation, like trying to put, it's a frequent thing that you do in small bits. Grow bigger, that you can use it for something.
Wow. When do I start investing? Is it only when I'm gainfully employed? Or perhaps when do I start saving?
Okay. So from my initial conversation, there's no way you can save when you are not earning.
There's no way you can save
when you are not earning.
Okay.
If you are not generating any income,
you are not producing.
You are not producing. What can you save? Do you get it? So I say that you can only save when you are earning.
Okay.
And you are able to save when you are able to let your expenditure be less than the earnings.
The earnings as well.
Or the income that you are receiving.
Okay.
That's the only way you can
save.
Yes.
But somebody also say, even though I'm not earning, but of course I do get, monies from people, perhaps, and so I can save out of that.
Okay, so that, you see, the earning that we are talking about is not only earning from your employment.
Okay. Well clarified.
Money
Yeah.
That comes to you. It's an income.
It's an income. Okay.
Because in the first place,
whether direct or indirect,
exactly. If you like, go the extreme line where you say that if no money is coming to you at all, where will you get money to spend?
Okay.
Do you get it?
Yes.
Where will you get money to spend?
Okay.
But if any money comes, then you have at least one earning.
Exactly.
But what you should be mindful is the sustainability of the earnings.
Okay.
So be the chair or china on farm.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yes.
So for me, savings. If somebody is in school, let's say at the university,
yes.
Okay, and maybe the parents are still taking care of you,
yeah,
and the money they are giving to you, you are able to so reduce your expenditure and so have something to save.
Whilst in school.
Whilst in school is the best thing you can do.
Yeah.
It's not all of us, because sometimes even the parents are so struggling to get you the basic whatever.
Exactly.
So, at school, I wouldn't encourage you, because at the time you have actually not started earning something that is sustainable.
Sustainable, yeah.
When you come out of school and you land on your first job, that's where I say the responsibility is to rest on you.
Exactly.
To be able to start living.
Now, there's another question here. Said, how do I identify the right source of investment, or maybe how do I identify the right saving source? Let me put it that way.
Okay.
How do I identify, because there are a lot of them, but how do I identify the right one?
I think in Ghana I wouldn't let you talk that much.
Yes.
If you want to save, try and save with a bank.
Try and save with the bank.
Yeah.
That is safest and risk free.
The bank account that you have opened, normally they open current account, and you can also open savings account.
Okay.
I would normally advise you open a savings account.
Okay.
Okay, rather than current, unless the current you need it for
business.
What is not actually business.
Okay.
Myself, for instance, I need savings account, I need current account.
Okay.
Current account, because most often than not, I'm writing check for people.
Okay.
So if I have to write check for somebody, I can't use savings.
Okay.
Because the savings, I have to be at the bank to get the money for the person.
For the person, okay.
Yes.
Okay.
So the check account or the current account is different from the savings account. Normally because of the features.
Exactly.
Savings account, if you're operating a savings account, you can't, the leaflet that is given to you, maybe you would see it as a check, but it's not a check.
Okay.
It's only you who can take money from that account.
Okay.
And not any other person.
Not a third party.
No,
a
not a third
party.
party.
Yeah.
Okay.
Wow.
In fact, was it last Friday somebody asked that he's going to open an account? Why should he, open savings or current? And I asked, the account, what are you going to use it for? So I'm receiving my salary. Okay. If you are receiving your salary, do you normally write check for people?
Okay.
Then you say no. Okay, if you don't write check for people, it's only you who are going to then open savings account. Because the savings account, immediately any money that sits on the savings account, there's an interest automatically that hits it.
And that hits it, okay.
So normally Ghana, you receive about 6 to 8% interest on savings account.
Okay.
When it comes to investment, then maybe the rates are going higher.
All right. Apart from the bank, because somebody also argued that the bank doesn't offer much interest. So why do I need to save at the bank when the interest they offer is minute? Is there not any other source that somebody can?
So that's why people confuse the savings and the investment.
Okay, all right.
Savings is trying to help you accumulate funds.
Funds.
So the motive is not too much of the interest.
The interest, okay.
But at least you still get something.
I think we need to get this point clear.
Yes.
Yes.
The purpose for saving is saying that you are trying to put down some money over time.
Over a period of time.
Accumulate money.
Okay.
That's the purpose.
That you can use for an investment.
So sometimes I can save for my education.
Okay.
maybe I'm going to pay school fees. No, let me use even the rent.
Yes.
That you go and pay 2 years.
Yes.
The best thing for you to do for yourself is that if you are paying 500 Ghana cedi on rent every month and they ask you to pay 2 years, every month try and put that 500 on your savings account.
On your savings
You
account.
are just saving it for that rent.
That rent.
Okay.
Wow.
You can't go and put it in investment because the investment, for all you know, they allow you to do, say, if it's a fixed deposit, either 3 months, 6 months, or 1 year.
Yeah.
If you get 1 year, 1 year. If you are not careful, the time that you might need the amount to pay the landlord, the maturity,
it's not matured.
It hasn't matured yet.
I'm going to surrender it to
Exactly.
penalty. It's huge.
Invest and they will apply.
What should be the highlight of my savings goals in life? What should be the highlight of my savings goals in life?
I don't understand.
For instance, what should be my savings goals? I mean, somebody will say that. Okay, yeah, you get, yes.
So your saving goal, as I said, is to be able to accumulate money that, all things being equal, instead of you going to borrow.
Okay, you can fall on.
You can fall on the savings.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I gave an example like rent. Okay, it's always better if you are renting.
Yeah.
The fact that you paid the 2 years, try to save towards that. If you intend to have, let's say you've had your first degree, okay, and you want masters, try and start saving towards that.
Yeah.
Okay, don't go and take loan for that. Try and start saving towards those things. If you want to have a good vacation somewhere, maybe it's not all of us that are struggling. Somebody want to go to move
Kempinski.
No, Kempinski is Accra. They don't.
Royal
Senchi and those places.
And I say Dubai.
Start saving. It's the saving that you accumulate and say, hey, we have $5,000.
Okay.
Let me start saving.
Towards it.
You know, you have a goal you want to achieve. You save towards it.
Wow. I think, I mean, it's well explained, the difference between the savings and investment. Somebody said, what are some of the investment portfolios I can safely put my money in? This one. What are some of the investments?
Okay, so investment in Ghana, normally you can talk of the fixed deposit.
Okay.
The fixed deposit, you can, in Ghana, I know they run the 91 days.
Okay.
You have the 182 days, which is 6 months. You have the 1 year, which is 1 year note. You can also invest in Treasury Bills. That's government Treasury Bills.
Okay.
That one too can have 91 days, 182 days, and 1 year.
Okay.
Now you can invest in government bonds.
Government bonds. Okay.
Okay. Government bonds are also there, depending on their duration. The bonds are normally a higher, longer period.
Yeah.
As against the treasuries.
Exactly.
You can also invest in banks investment instrument,
like,
so
okay,
if you go, let's say Ecobank will have, let's say, a product they will call they sometimes give it a name, a habit of investment.
Evasion and
if you go to, you talk to bankers, they'll tell you several,
exactly,
investment packages that they have. But let me come to the investment banking side, where like Data Bank and EDC and those they go constituencies. There.
Yeah.
You can have mutual funds.
Okay.
Mutual funds are investment that, assuming somebody want to invest on the stock market.
Yeah.
But the stock market, you need a bigger amount to invest.
Yes.
But you have not got that. The mutual funds allow individual to own those shares. So let's say, for instance, you want to have car bank share.
Okay.
Or Ghana commercial bank shares. You want to own part of it. You can own that through a mutual fund.
Okay.
So you go to Data Bank and they will tell you that they have
EPACs, M-Fund,
and those things. Those funds invest in those instruments.
Okay.
But as little as, let's say, sometimes 50 Ghana cedi,
you
can own part of it.
You can own part.
But if you take the 50 Ghana cedi to the Ghana stock market, they won't allow you to buy.
Okay. So you can use it, the third party channel.
Exactly. And it's still the same risk that you have to take.
Our time is even exceeded by 6 minutes. But let me ask this last one. Is there a need for each one of us to have a personal investment advisor or financial advisor?
So I would say yes.
Okay.
Because knowledge normally they will say is not in one man's head.
Exactly.
Normally your bankers will advise you, but my problem in Ghana is that they normally advise you to buy their own product.
Normally
people come to me and you say you want to do it. I say this is what I have. But I think what you are looking for, you can get it here. Go and buy it.
Okay.
That's a personal advice, maybe independently, I'm giving to you.
Exactly.
And you invest based on objective.
Objectives,
Yes.
okay. Okay.
So you normally have an investment objective.
Okay.
If somebody say you want to do something, the first question you have to ask the person, why do you want to do it? If you're able to identify the why, then you'll be able to advise the person, how he should go about it and what he should do. But I think the personal financial advice, people have been trained.
Yes.
If you're able to have that, I think.
Yes. Then again, in terms of investment, somebody asks, why do I invest? I know you've made mention of why savings. Maybe I'm saving towards something. Again, what will push somebody into investment?
Okay, so for me, I invest to make money.
To make money?
Yes.
Increase my earnings?
Okay. We sit in the corporate offices.
Okay.
And I'm doing my core job as a banker to my institution.
Yes.
I want to have other stream of income.
Other stream of income.
If I go and go and set this, I set a cocoa business. Ask the person to go and do the business for me. Before I realize, then they've spoiled my money.
Yes.
They are not able to run the business the way I want it.
Exactly.
So instead of me giving the money to somebody to go and ask, I can buy fixed deposit.
Okay.
Then I use the money to buy.
Fixed
deposit. So it gets me the same profit, not the same, but like an equal income.
An equivalent, yes.
Investment for me is so key because people are able to invest.
Okay. Yeah.
And the returns they are making on the investment sometimes become equal to their salary they are earning. And therefore they can just... I recall maybe when I started life, investment, because maybe I work in the investment arena. It was just my... 2014, my investment income was just more than my salary. So I stopped my work.
Wow.
Yes. And started another business.
Wow. And you ventured more into that there. Wow.
Maybe that will be another discussion.
Exactly. Yes.
I've come back.
Exactly.
But if you invest, it's a way to make money.
Okay.
It's sort of another business you are doing.
Okay.
But that business goes with time. The more amount you have in investment, the more the returns
exactly
you also make.
I know.
And if you are somebody who fear risk in quote, start taking the secured investment.
Okay. Like the fixed deposit.
The fixed deposit, the T-bills, the government bonds.
Okay.
Those ones.
Okay. Time will not permit us. Like I wanted you to touch briefly on some of these investment portfolios. Like what is a bond? What is a fixed deposit? What is a share and all that. I don't know if within just 1 minute you can touch them from the layman's perspective, because I know you've mentioned bond, but somebody listening to us may not even understand what is a bond, what is a share, what is a T-bill, from the layman's perspective.
Okay, so let me start with the T-bill. The T-bill is an investment that the government normally every week comes to the market and say, I need money.
Okay.
Anybody who will give me his money, I will give a return of so and so.
Okay.
So Treasury bills are bills that the government is offering to the public.
So you are lending to the
you are lending to the
government. Okay.
Yes. And it was one of the
safest
investment you could have.
Okay.
It's called Treasury bill because it's tenure. The time you invest,
the duration
is not more than a year.
Okay.
So you can buy a T-bill that is 91 days.
Okay.
You can buy a T-bill. When I say T-bill, like the Treasury bill.
The Treasury bill, yeah.
That is
60 days. Okay.
182,
right.
Which is 6 months. So you buy 3 months, 6 months.
Okay.
Or maximum 1 year note.
1 year note. Okay.
Any government investment offered to the public beyond 1 year is a bond.
It's a bond.
Yes.
Okay.
So you can't have a bond that is 6 month bond.
Okay.
You can't have a bond that is 3 months bond.
Okay.
All bonds are beyond 1 year.
So lending to the government
for a
longer period.
It's a bond.
It's a bond.
It means the government. It means that instrument. If the government is bringing it out, the government will call it a bond.
Okay.
The 1 year one, they call it note.
Note. Okay.
So 1 year note.
Okay.
So if it's 2 years, then it becomes a 2 year bond.
Okay.
Now I think government has even got about 30 years.
Okay.
Bonds,
And you can still get the bond at the banks. You can buy it from the banks.
Okay, so they have selected primary dealers of banks that
you can buy bonds.
Bonds,
And those comes with huge amounts.
Not necessarily. Sometimes as low as 500, 200.
You can buy a bond.
Yeah, you can buy.
Wow.
Because they sell in small.
Unit,
yeah. So everybody is just buying.
Exactly. And again, what
so
shares?
Shares are
yes.
okay. So I mentioned, let's say for instance, car bank shares. So
yes.
there's a market that the financial institution has put together called capital market.
Okay.
So there's a place we call So there's a company called Stock Exchange.
Stock Exchange. Okay.
Ghana Stock Exchange.
Yes.
So Ghana Stock Exchange is like a market that people go to buy shares.
Okay.
Shares means. Hey, how do I explain shares? Shares are just part of a company that you want to buy.
Okay.
So Capital O2.
Okay.
Capital O2. Assuming Capital O2 has listed on the stock market.
Okay.
Capital O2 will float what we call shares.
Okay.
To own part of it, it means that he's selling part of it.
So you're inviting people to come and own shares, to come and own a part
of it.
Of the company.
That part that they will give to you, you call it a share.
So they will sell it.
They will sell it to you.
Okay.
So in UK, Ghana, other country, they call it shares. But if you go to US, they call it stock.
Stocks. Okay.
Stocks. So either you are buying the stock, but it's like the equity.
Okay.
So stocks, shares, equity.
They are the same. Okay.
You know, when they are preparing the financial statement, they will say the equity is so and so.
Okay.
The equity, if they want to float it on the stock market, then they call it shares.
Shares. Okay.
So that one too. If you see the brokers, they are brokers that buy for clients.
Yes.
Yeah. So I think Data Bank does that.
Wow.
EDC.
Yeah, exactly. EcoBank. Yeah.
EcoBank Incorporated.
Wow. What's a rich discussion. I mean, so much to learn over the period. I know, forgive us, we've loaded the things, because you see, Collins is so busy that because from today, apart from this, I don't know when else we can have Collins in the studio. Maybe we'll have to give him like 6 months, because even for this program I gave him like 6 months notice before I could have him in the studio. But seriously, I want to thank you so much for your time. I mean, step by step, taking us through the issues of investment, of savings, of budgeting, and now we've ended on the issue of shares, bond, and all that. I believe that my viewers and listeners out there have been so much, educated this afternoon, educated on the issues of personal financial management. And I believe that this program, like I said, is meant for you to help you develop a credible personal image of yourself. And so we want to thank Colin so much. Your final words before we end the show. Yes.
Okay, so I think my final word is that
somebody said maybe a time. Is that 3 basic needs? Okay, this is a very educative program for families. Every family under the sun must take advantage of this program. Okay, Reverend Benedict Otu. And then O.A. George, he said the biggest difference between saving and investment is the level of risk taken. Saving typically results in you earning a lower return, but with virtually no risk. In contrast, investment allows you the opportunity to earn a higher return, but you take on the risk of loss in order to do so, according to bankrate.com. And then now Dromo Adukwe said, thank you, Mr. Appiah. But O.A. George, I think he's making a point, what he said.
Which one? The savings.
Yeah, the difference between saving and
investment. Okay, so depending on the people you're explaining it to.
Yeah.
Partly, I think it could be true.
Okay.
Because that's why I think you mentioned that the savings normally have a lower. So he's picking it from risk and return, risk and return perspective.
Exactly.
That normally a higher risk investment or instrument.
Yeah.
Will go for a higher rate.
Okay.
Of returns.
Exactly.
Vice versa. I mean, if the returns is low, small or low, then it means the risk is very, and normally savings are normally
yes.
at that rate.
Yes. Our time is about. Somebody just said, can you please advise choosing between insurance and investment?
Let me say this. I think in Ghana, and maybe my insurance people might not too much agree with me on this. You see, the word insurance, has its own meaning.
Okay.
But I think that in Ghana, because of competition, people go to sell insurance product as an investment product.
As though it's an investment.
That's it.
Yeah, you are right. Because I'm an insurance person, so I know.
I know, right? That's why I have to be careful what kind of explanation. Outside, insurance is an insurance. You are insuring unforeseeable.
It's a pure risk.
Right?
It's a pure risk venture, yeah.
But yeah, you know, Charlie, the business have to survive, so they can't bring every man, bring this, so later we can give you something. It's an investment to me, or
you have to meet your targets.
You know,
wow.
I think the two instruments are the same.
Because can you please advise choosing between insurance and investment? So, like, the insurance is pure risk.
So, insurance, you are picking an insurance, okay, not as an investment.
Not as an investment, okay.
Insurance is for insurance. So then the question is like, if as a person, let me use a house.
Yeah.
Assuming I go and take a mortgage.
Okay.
Why would I have to insure the house?
Okay.
I have to insure the house because if something happened to the building, the insurers are telling me that they will give me money to buy the
exactly.
house. It's not an investment.
Indemnify you.
Yeah. It means that there's the probability of the thing, in quote, happening or not happening.
The occurrence of an event. Exactly.
If it happened, they are saying that and if it happens, it's very risky to me.
Yes.
So they say that buy an insurance to cover that risk. It's different from an
so they can restore you
to exactly. your so something that, and like a vehicle comprehensive, they will say ask you to do a comprehensive insurance because when the thing occurs, maybe you might not be able to raise that money.
Yes.
It's totally different from investment objective.
Yeah.
Investment objective is that you are investing to get a return.
But
you are not investing to cover your risk. So there are two separate
entities,
financial, instruments.
It's because of the education, like you said, that have made insurance to look like investment. But of course, like you said, investment is investment. Insurance is insurance.
Yeah.
And another time we'll look at what insurance actually is on this show. So just be on the lookout.
So
for
maybe
us.
on that, sorry to say, on that,
yeah.
the person who asked,
yeah,
if you want to buy an insurance, you are buying an insurance to cover your future risk that may be, okay,
against an eventuality. Okay.
Don't go and say I'm buying insurance for my education.
Well, insurance also have education policies.
That's what I'm saying. You see, the education policy that if I'm buying an insurance education policy, then it's like I'm doing for my child. Where if I'm not there and I die in court,
okay,
they'll use their money for the purpose of
the child. Charlie, you're rather teaching me insurance. Okay, so I think our time is fast spent, and I want to thank all of you for joining us in the show. Personal financial management, I believe it has been so educating, has been so enriching, and I want to thank our guests, Collins Appiah, so much. Maybe there are some people that want to make contact with you. I don't know if no, I'm not to put your contact out there, but where you work, where you work, maybe people want to come to your place of work and have personal.
Okay. So I work with the Ghana Armed Forces. They call it Ghana Armed Forces. We call it Ghana Armed Forces Bank.
Ghana Armed Forces Bank. They have a bank.
The services integrity services. It's actually for Ghana Armed Forces.
Oh, that's I never knew. Wow.
That's for Ghana Armed Forces.
Okay.
And they have set up a financial institution to take care of their
wow, and that's very huge.
Yeah.
Wow.
So that's where I work, and people are also allowed. It's not only for Ghana Armed Forces. People are also allowed to come and have investment.
Okay.
The only thing is that when you are looking for loan and you come there, they won't give you.
They only give it to the service person.
They only give it to the service person.
Wow. For now.
I think in future maybe they will open it up.
Exactly. Yeah. And you are the CEO secretary, right?
No, so I manage the CEO's office.
You manage the CEO's office. So if the CEO is
like
not
I'm
there,
managing my CEO.
So if the CEO is not there, you are there. Wow, thank you so much. That's the very reason for asking the difference between insurance and investment. Insurance companies selling education policies. Well, so I think the difference, Collins has really given us the difference that insurance is more pure risk. I mean, more or less like a risk. It is in this part of our world where insurance, because of the terrain, we've incorporated a bit of investment or savings, but insurance in itself is pure risk. It's
Covering
pure
your
risk.
risk.
Covering your risk. Covering your risk.
You are insuring against the risk.
Exactly. Isn't this part of our world where a man for Charlie Bibi kakra be into most and then we put a maturity. If you mature, they pay you, and all that. But another day we'll talk about insurance. So just stick and stay with us on O2 Radio, the breath of the airways. Thank you so much, Collins, and thank you so much you out there. Again, this is Effective Living Series with me, your host Ernest. My regards to Bishop and Hinkra, TriStar, CEO of TriStar Insurance Brokers, one of our sponsors. And again, thank you to Reverend Amwatin, Nisi Pharmaceutical Company, for sponsoring this program. Capital O2, regards to Reverend Benedict O2, SKL Company Limited, and Royalty Boutique. Yes, my address this afternoon is from Royalty Boutique. Thank you so much, and have a wonderful afternoon. See you next week. Next 2 weeks we'll be looking at we'll have a woman for the first time. We'll have a woman in the show, so just watch out. I'll give you the details next and a later date. So have a wonderful Saturday afternoon, and bye bye.
Woman, me buy a measure wo musa, na den na de more my strong, I active, air cobasa.
Fasidama Acticate multivitamin drops and Acticate magic beans. And an among crana who dance no, and cry yawo one ne, a confumiansa, and an Acticate multivitamin drops, and Mama who day more from Kama, and we are in Rahu doing in air being soon. Your vitamins A, B, C, D, and E, and Mama who day, be a woman dream, na magic beans no. And crying 4 years, echo, a food supplement. One more unit is set of it, and we are in raw vitamins, ne minerals, nina so, a beer your mumma, and can be so enim, peanut oil, enim, sounds of vegetarians, it's me a ribby.
Ain't the obata and beer here and Acticate.
Anne Acticate multivitamin drops and Acticate magic beans. And one about 10 in a year.
And he found a mania beato.
Penny do to a Nisi pharmacy for and Alcofaba, Nemon Bako pharmacy shop bia, Ubenya Biato, Sankra Tway, FDA, Ashisham Adia to Muse.